All right, everyone. I think we can start now. Most of the people have joined and few people will be joining soon. So if today's session, primarily we have designed for open sessions. Any questions anyone have, you can ask now. And if anyone are facing any difficulties that on your day-to-day activity, you have certain questions that you want to talk about, definitely you can ask anyone.
Hi, Neeladri. If no one is having, then maybe can I ask one question? Like,
Yes.
Yeah, this is Naveen Vadada.
Yeah, Naveen.
Yeah. In my day-to-day activities, actually, I'm trying to incorporate like test cases in Azure DevOps.
Okay. Test cases of Agile DevOps.
Yeah.
Okay.
I am able to see to like whenever I right click on the user story, I'm seeing the as a plus icon and add test case, right? But
which tool you are talking about?
Azure DevOps.
Okay.
Yeah, but I'm not sure. Like my team members are not able to see that add test case link. Right?
Okay.
Multiple
So
ways.
in Azure DevOps, there are multiple permission sets are there. So whoever is your Azure admin, you can ask them that this is the particular access that these are the team members, they are not able to get it. Can you provide them the necessary access? So in Azure DevOps, there are multiple people, each people have different permission sets. Check with your admin that, okay, this is the access that my team is looking for, why they are not able to get it. Because until I don't have the access to your Azure DevOps, I'll not be able to find out what is lacking there.
Yeah, unfortunately, I am one of the admin. So
okay. Yeah, so probably once you will show me, maybe we can connect offline to find out, okay, what exactly you are looking at and what is there and how we can find it out.
Yeah. I know this is not right platform to us. Yeah, but yeah. Okay. Thank you, Neeladri.
All right. Anyone else you have some questions that you wants to ask? If anyone wants to come on camera, feel free to come on. There are 6 people who is watching on YouTube. Whoever is watching on YouTube, if you have some questions, you can type in your question in the chat box. All right, I'll just wait
so the
for.
Question,
yeah.
Oh, the question I have is adopting the CMM. So the capability model, assessing the safe level with new teams. How do you present that to new teams?
CMM.
Yeah.
So CMMI level that we are talking about, level 1 or level 3.
Yes.
I am not very much aware of that. Maybe someone else who have applied that, they can talk about that. If you go into CMM level, they might be having some guidelines how you can apply. Or see, every practices that you wants to achieve to certain standard, they have guidelines what you need to follow, and there will be an assessment to check whether you are following. Or it's not only for CMMI. If you go for any of the standardization process, you first need to find out what their guidelines are, what they are expecting, and they may have a maturity assessment of how much you are following that. If not, find out, okay, which area you have the low scores, try to improve that area. But I will be more happy to answer any questions that you are coming up when you are executing SAFe, Agile, Scrum, Kanban, Jira, Rally, that day-to-day activity, mostly into the Agile sides that you wants to bring up.
Yeah, Mr. Neeladri.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have one question, and really appreciate all things that you're offering to the community and really valuable information.
Sure.
And I have always one question that comes up. When do we go for a 2-week sprint versus a 3-week sprint? Do you have any recommendations?
When you want to go for a 2-week sprint or 3-week sprint. See, whenever you start a Scrum way of working, at the very beginning, you do a discovery analysis and find out that what will be the different structure of your whole execution. Means what will be your sprint duration, who will be your team member, what will be your primary backlog items that will start with, what will be your definition of ready, what will be your definition of done. Now, if you talk about the sprint durations, people follows 4 duration: 1 week, 2 week, 3 week, and 4 week. What we have observed that 1 week sprint is very aggressive, and 4 week sprint people goes towards a waterfall or mini waterfall approach they follows. So 2 weeks or 3 week sprint, both are recommended. You can go for that. Now, at certain projects, what we have realized that they are working on certain nature of work. They says or they think a story cannot be completed in 2 weeks, at least we need 3 weeks. If you think that some of the stories is little bigger in size, that cannot be broken into smaller size, and we must complete it at one go, and it need at least, let's say, little more than 2 weeks. And you can be able to accommodate in 3 weeks, go for 3 weeks. If you think that, okay, now the stories can be accommodated, the primary, your first attempt to go with a 2-week sprint. If you think, okay, now 2-week sprint is not possible, we need to go a little higher, go with 3 sprint, never go with more than 3 weeks.
Yeah, thank you so much. That makes sense.
Sure. Okay, one person, Srusti Vinod in YouTube asked a question. Can you please tell how user story should be communicated to the Scrum team or developers? Okay, Srusti, if you are hearing, you need to follow, if you understand, there is a concept called 3C, card, conversation, and confirmation. So what you have written in the card where you mention the user story as a I want so that format. And then finally, you get an acceptance criteria. In between, you have a conversation. So whatever you have written in the card, that's an invitations of that conversation. And every user story should go through that conversation phase. Now, when you are talking about user story, when you will be having those conversations, people normally do in 2 different instances. Sometimes they do it at the beginning of sprint planning and have the conversation. A mature team, you may find they have defined a structured pattern of doing backlog refinement. And whenever they do backlog refinement, they may do it twice a week, every Tuesday, every Thursday, or only Wednesday. Find out what goes good for them, spend 1 hour, follow a pattern that whatever you are following every week, same time you are following that. Pick up the stories from top of your backlog one by one. You need to make sure that you have already defined a definition of ready and have the conversation asked by the team, and let's product owner address all their doubts, all their clarifications. You can also, as a Scrum Master, if you're a Scrum Master, look into the stories are meeting the definition of ready or not. If not, what is missing? Try to address that gap. At some point of time, you may realize your product owner is not able to answer that. Product owner needs some information. Park that story for a future conversation. In the meanwhile, product owner will capture the necessary information from their stakeholders. Now, this is where you can bring up the conversation. Now, this is not the only place where you will do the conversation. As a team, you can talk about any user story whenever you think there is a conversation needed. But if you define a structured pattern that every story should go through that conversation through backlog refinement before you plan, mark the story as definition of ready, let the team estimate the story point right after the conversations in story points. That is where you will be encourage or bring up those conversations. I believe that answered your question, Srusti. If yes, you can mention on the comment. All right, I can see a couple of new people also joined. If anyone have any questions on your day-to-day activity or any areas, you can feel free to ask.
Hi, Niladri. Can you help me understand the difference between the Scrum board and the Jira board? You know, on the Jira, we have got, 2 boards, the Kanban board and the other board. In terms of reporting, there is a difference. Can you help me understand that?
So you are asking about the difference between Scrum board and Jira board, or Scrum board or Kanban board?
A Scrum and Kanban board.
See, if you talk about Agile is a set of values and principles, and there are many different frameworks that follows those Agile values and principle and structure the framework to cater certain nature of job. If I talk about Kanban is designed for catering ad hoc request or the request which need more frequent releases or which cannot be structured for 2 weeks of boundary or 3 weeks of boundary. Scrum is more structured way, more disciplined way, or you can talk about Kanban is also disciplined way, but Scrum is a time boxed activity. So both of them, if you talk about Kanban, there is no defined time box. It's a free flow where you impose the work in progress limit, define class of services. So in Jira, if you are working on a Kanban nature of project, you will be having a Kanban board. In your Kanban board, you will not be able to see any complete the sprint or the how many days remaining. But if you're working on a Scrum board, if you are following a Scrum pattern of work, you will be planning at the time of sprint planning, populate the subsets of some user stories from product backlog to sprint backlog. You will start your sprint. You will see once you have started your sprint, an active sprint is coming up where you can complete your sprint, where you can monitor the burn down chart. Those will be the key difference between Scrum board and Kanban board in Jira.
Thank you.
All right. All right, guys, any other questions? Anyone have? Anything that you think something you are struggling with, or you have some curiosity to understand that, maybe I will be able to answer. If I don't have the answer, I will respond to you back later. But at least I will give it my level best to answer your question.
I have a question.
Yeah, please go ahead.
All right. So in our daily stand-up, you know the norm of the way that you run our daily stand-up. I wanted to know do you have any other suggestions other than just people talking about what they did yesterday, what they plan on doing? Do you have any other suggestions that we can actually conduct those meetings that will be more valuable?
Okay. See, the purpose of your daily stand-up is not a status update meeting that what we have just done yesterday and what I'm planning to do today. The primary goal of your daily stand-up is build up a atmosphere or environment of synchronizations between the team. In your daily stand-up, your Scrum Master and Product Owner are optional. They does not need to be attended. This is only for the development team. And the development team, they can decide how they will be planning for the day. When we talk about daily stand-up, this is a daily planning where the teams talks about. So it's not important they talks about what they have worked on yesterday or what they will be working today. They will be more talking about, okay, I have worked on this coding and I face some difficulties. I think you are working on the similar nature of work. Can you help me out after this daily stand-up? Or the tester may say, okay, I have started working on the testing and I feel this is something I need to have a discussion. This is the questions I have. Can you please let me know on that? It's more about synchronization. Also, in your daily stand-up, at the end of your daily stand-up, you think about what are the impediments the team have. That impediments cannot be solved by the team. How many impediments or the blockers they have that they cannot solve by themselves. They need some external help. Bring that up to Scrum Master notice. Also try to optimize what are the unnecessary discussions we are having that can be avoided during the daily stand-up. As a Scrum Master, you observe that. You also stop any unnecessary technical discussion at the point of daily stand-up or any requirement clarification at the time of daily stand-up that you may have observed. As a Scrum Master, to ensure that that discussion is important, but not as a part of daily stand-up, you can hold them and have them conducted at the end of your daily stand-up. The many teams, they follow and they take 2 minutes or 3 minutes time to talk about the retrospective action items, because mostly we have the retrospective and that can end up as a formality because Scrum says we need to go for retrospective. We are doing the retrospective, we are identifying the action items, but those action items never talked about or looked into. If you bring up a practice, okay, at the end of daily stand-up, we'll reserve 2 minutes to talk about where we are on retrospective action items. As you plan your sprint, many organizations, they plan 2 or 3 retrospective action items as a part of their commitment. If you do so, that's great. That will be come up on your discussion. Also try to make and practice that once your daily stand-up is completed, spend 1 minute or 2 minutes time to look into your burn down chart. If you see some unnecessary spikes came up or something that bring your attentions to think about, have a discussion on that. So these are the key areas that you can also do or you can follow on your daily stand-up. Jolly, is it answer your question? Okay, I believe yes.
Yes, it does.
All
Thank
right,
you.
anyone else have any other questions? Four people who are watching at YouTube, anyone have any questions from YouTube side?
Yeah, Niladri, Naveen again.
Yeah,
What is the role of the BA in Agile or Scrum in Scrum?
All right, see, when we talk about the role of
Hello. I think Niladri, anybody able to hear my voice? Or,
Yeah, we can
Yes.
hear.
Audible, but I think Niladri's screen got stuck. So that's
Oh, yeah. Okay. You can wait then.
hello.
Yes, Niladri.
Yeah, see, I think my system got hanged, so I joined from mobile devices. So I'm not sure till how long you are able to watch, hear me. If I'm talking about, what, can you just repeat the question once again?
The role of the BA, business analyst, in Scrum.
Yeah, see, whenever we go for business analysis role, it's typically applied or came from a waterfall way of working. And if you look into a Scrum roles, we have product owner, Scrum master, and developer. But if you are going into a Kanban way of working, Kanban, it says you can use whatever your existing process and tools that you are following. BA's role, if you are looking into Scrum, is not very prominently discussed what exactly the role of the BA will be. It's primarily come up whenever we have our product owner and you are a distributed team, your product owner is somewhere in a different time zone and the team may need someone to locally assist them. We may find out, okay, we can have someone at the local system or the local time zone who can assist them. So we can have someone as a BA, we can have someone as a proxy product owner, or we can have someone as a shadow product owner. They will be working from a local team, they will be collaborating with the remote product owner more frequently and be the single point of contact, immediate point of contact for the developer. Are you able to understand what I'm talking about?
Yes, Niladri.
Okay, great. All right. So anyone have any other questions?
Can Scrum Master can handle this proxy PO?
No, that will be create a conflict of interest. Scrum Master have a very dedicated responsibilities for facilitating the team. So if Scrum Master start focusing on facilitating the team, it will become a problem for the team. Scrum Master to share their responsibility over there. Are we clear?
Yes, yes.
Okay. All right. Okay, so anyone else have any other questions that you wanted to ask? Naveen, is that answer your questions? You still have some doubts what I have talked about?
No, no, I am clear on that. Actually, right now, my role is combination of both. So I just wanted curious. So
Okay. All right, anyone else? We can see we have kind of how many members? 15 members. And anyone who is watching it from YouTube, if you have any questions, you can ask me. I'll just take the name of all the participants. Indu, Ashwini, someone as fireflies.ai bot. So I'm not sure who is that. Dr. Mike, Nimi, Laura, Naveen, Sweta, Sundar, Kab, Jolly, Mamta, Praveen, Santosh, and Dr. Michael is also joining once again. All right. If anyone have any questions, anything that you wants to share with the team, some experience, you can do so. All right. If we don't have any questions, probably we will not be keeping everyone engaged over here. We will close it up and we will be connecting once again in our next webinar on Saturday with a specific topic. All right. Yeah, Sundar, you want to say
Thank you so much, Niladri. Really helpful.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. So I think people don't have much questions here. So we will wind it up over here and we'll connect on our next webinar next weekend. Till that time, have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.
thank you, Niladri.